Hello, hello, Cozy Gang. How's it going? Welcome to another really awesome Otome Games Celebration demo that we're playing. The Otome Games Celebration is going on Steam, and we're one of the streamers that have been reviewing and sharing some awesome demos with you. And here we are with a mystery one. We are a Faeologist in Death and Faeology. There's been some murders going on, and it's 1920s New York, and we are going to be investigating and figuring out what's going on. This game comes to us from Mushroom Mallow. They're a game studio based in Indonesia. We're really interested in seeing what this entails. There looks like some interesting game mechanics for investigating, and the artwork looks really good in the trailer. So I wanted to check this one out, and I hope you enjoy this with me as well. I will put the link for the demo in the description so you can join me with playing this demo, or you can go ahead and wishlist it. But let's see where it will take us. What is your name? We'll go with the default Augustine for now. All right. Looks like we're in our office. Grading first year assignments can be an exercise in patience. I ought to remind myself that Faeology is a relatively recent science, only a couple of decades old. This university, the only Faeology university in the whole country, was just finished being built in 1905. It is still barely acknowledged in the academic field, but we're pioneering the way. More importantly, I've got to keep in mind that children inherit their parents' prejudices, and misconceptions. The human world has formed its own notion of fairies. Alas, I find myself unable to suppress a big sigh every time I read references to poison apples ushering princesses into eternal sleep. A reference to the Coddingtonly fairies is one I can understand, since it was quite the sensation not too long ago. Although it would be clear in the eyes of a renowned Faeologist that the photographs are mere imitations. A pity that Sir Doyle was taken in by it. I have to take a break. The grading session today has taken me quite a tangent. My beloved Oz. Aw, very pretty, very pretty. I suppose having a fairy companion does give one an advantage in identifying genuine fairies. Maybe just a little bit. I'd say a break is in order, wouldn't you, Oz? Oz responds through thrills that I've learned to interpret over decades I've known them. Aw. The cunningly fairies again? Yes, and princesses' eternal slumber due to poisoned apples. We don't care much for human princesses, but making poisoned apples is rather an easy feat. Shall I turn one of them into a toad in front of the whole class to show that Faefolk is capable of more than that? At the same time showing them that not all fairies are a friendly bunch? I can't help but chuckle at the thought of that. Oz is like, we're just going to go extreme on these students. I believe some might just quit that same day if you do that. Besides, if other Faeologists get a hold of your existence, who knows what they'll do to you? Chances are high those people will try to pin you to a corkboard and vivisect you. Oh no. I would never let that happen. I've always appreciated you pursuing Faeology to ensure that. This is the least I could do. We've known each other since I was 7. You've saved me countless times since then. Well, you could have let me bleed to death when you found me. I would never. Aw. I can hear a delighted melody of chirps laced with a touch of whimsy, which makes me feel just a tad fizzy. Seems like even the laugh of a fairy possesses some magical quality. While you're on a break, isn't there something else on your agenda this afternoon? Right, Mr. Hinkle's letter. Thanks for reminding me. Oz is very helpful. I retrieve the letter from my patron from a desk drawer. I lean back on my chair and read the missive aloud to myself. Dear Augustine, how long are you going to keep me in suspense? Will you or will you not accompany me to this year's Leo's Gala? We could do a lot worse than forgetting your boring books for a moment in favor of whiling away an evening with champagne and cabinets and invigorating company. When I say invigorating, I'm not speaking of those old sods with deep pockets ready to be exploited by the way of funding grants for your research. I'm speaking, of course, of yours truly. Do write to me sometime before Saturday. Oh no. That's tomorrow's date, isn't it? Oops. Oh, I know. My delay in responding is entirely by design, I assure you. I'd hate to be getting the looks from the crowd like I'm a wet blanket. Faeology isn't worth my dough, they'd say. Oz's replying chirp is decidedly indignant. I nod to Oz in agreement before returning to Mr. Hinkle's letter. In other news, I've heard that little Ruthie Blythe caused a minor ruckus in the city's hottest speakeasy. Uh-oh. If your old friend, Detective Crouse, hadn't been in the area at the time as well, who knows what could have happened? I find myself rather perturbed at this revelation. I would have telephoned Ruthie and asked what the story was, like we were children. However, for better or for worse, we aren't on friendly terms anymore. Oh no. Oh no. Sounds like our paths are going to cross again now. I resume reading my patron's letter. Speaking of the detective, have the two of you been keeping in contact? He gave me the cold shoulder when I crossed paths with him at last week's benefit. Couldn't help assuming that his persistently frosty treatment of me might have had something to do with you. It's unfortunate that the extensive bonds you have with him should end in a rather bitter taste. As you have told me more than once, when it was good, there was nothing else quite like it. Yet, you speak very little of him now. I find myself wondering if he still holds a place in that guarded heart of yours. The letter is signed, Yours Everlasting, Oscar Hinkle. Mr. Hinkle thinks very fondly of me. Well, I've kept Mr. Hinkle waiting long enough. We'll press a pen to a fresh sheet of paper to commence crafting a response. Just then, a familiar rhythmic rapping pierces the silence. I glance in the direction of Oz, but they're nowhere to be seen. Oz must have camouflaged themselves in a heartbeat. Put Mr. Hinkle's letter in the drawer before calling out. Come in, Minnie. Ooh, hey, Minnie. How you doing? My assistant enters the office. She's careful to snap the door shut behind her. Professor? Yes, Minnie? Were you talking to yourself again? That's right, you know me. I'm always talking to myself. There's no fairy in here. Don't worry about that. I see. Sometimes I wonder what she must have thought while hearing the mumbling sounds of me speaking with Oz. But she knows when not to poke her nose into things. One of the things I like about her, and also what makes her the bee's knees when it comes to being an assistant. I'd hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he's here. Oh, who's he? Who? That police detective from the newspapers. Police detective? Even as I echo these two words, there's a sinking feeling in my stomach. You know, the man who made you crumple the papers and toss them in the trash can. In the end, we had to stop our subscription for the dailies. Detective Theodore Crouse? Yes, that's the one. Knowing Theo is here makes my world go momentarily off kilt. It's as if, by the magic of the fairy tales I malign, the ink on my patron's letter has manifested him into the reception area. Can't you tell him that I'm out delivering a lecture on the far side of campus or something? That depends. Is it a lie like that going to deter this man? Is a lie like that going to deter this man? An astute question. She is truly wise beyond her years. Probably not. He'd happily traverse the entire campus just to torment me, I'm guessing. Alright, let him in. With a brisk nod, Minnie returns to reception area. I barely have time for a steadying breath before Theo barges in. He was ready. Okay. Damn. Theo just rushed in here. He drops a box on my desk right off the bat. What is this? Why is he in my office? Well, look who the cat dragged in. Not even a how do you do? What? Do niceties suddenly mean something to you? Dang. You get cut with that glare. I seem to recall you packing your bags and moving out without so much as a goodbye. Uh-oh. There was no one to say goodbye to. Didn't you find out I left only a few days later? Uh-oh. At least it made it easy for you to leave, didn't it? There was a tinge of hurt in his voice that I'm only able to pick up because we lived together for several months. Ah, that's what soured our relationship. As my mouth struggles to catch the words hanging in the air, I feel the piercing, icy silence creeping in. We ought to break the silence before I freeze. What's in the box? He lets out a deep sigh that rather sounds like relief. Your things that somehow you didn't take with you when you left. Even that oddly crafted handkerchief you loved so much. That handkerchief was a gift for you. See the corner of his mouth twitch. He's lying. What should I do with this information? Let's reach out for the box to check. I quickly stretch out my hand to the box, yet he is just as fast in catching my wrist before I open it. I withdraw my hand from his grip swiftly, like a startled bird soaring into the sky. That truly caught me off guard. I've forgotten what his hand feels like. Ew. I was only kidding. Although you really haven't changed much, have you? That's almost a kind look there. You just went straight for it. He sounds amused and slightly pleased. Yeah, he does look pleased. As if he just confirmed the accuracy of one of his deductions. Neither have you. I threw all of it away right after you vanished. Wow. He says with a subtle squint in his left eye, another lying tale of his. I can't help but sigh at his antics. Of course he did. So, what's really in the box? Want to take a guess? I do have an idea. Knowing him, he'd sooner face the whole Al Capone gang by himself and take their bullets before coming to visit me. This must be way more important than our poignant history. Case evidence? I've seen boxes like this one before, but never one quite so large. It's a really big case, isn't it? He nods. The biggest of my career. And to come to me, of all people, you must be at your wits' end about this. He looks away, as if trying to hide how galling the circumstances at hand are. Truth be told, I'd rather face the whole Al Capone gang and take their bullets than have to see you again. Gee, that stings a little. So why would you... Hold on a minute. Do you think this has some sort of connection to fairies? He flicks his tongue in exasperation. Uh-oh. Oh my, it seems I've hit the bullseye. We stopped talking about fairies at some point when we were still together. Those talks always led to a heated discussion and then into arguments, because nothing I could say could change his skepticism towards my mystical beings. This is certainly the chance to tease him about it, though it might be unwise considering the emotional peril he must have gone through to get here. Yeah. What should I do next? Ooh, decisions. He's already kind of tense around us. I'm going to ask about his thoughts instead of teasing him. I know this must have been hard for you, but I can't help if you don't say anything. He sighs. That is a, I guess, look. You're right. As difficult as it is to admit, the things you've told me about fairies and whatnot might have helped to make sense of this case. But I have to say, for the sake of my sanity, I still don't believe they exist. Fair enough. I mean, that was probably enough to sour our relationship. He appears pleasantly surprised by my answer, as though he was expecting a quarrel right around the corner. Little did he know, I've learned that it's moot to try to explain the otherworldly beings to him. Yeah, he seems kind of grateful about it too with that look. He is kind of cute too. At least we have good taste. So what makes this case so significant? Why did you think it relates to fairies? Are you even allowed to tell me? I hear the sound of a chuckle under the breath, like a bolt from the blue. For a brief moment, his gaze on mine seems to revert to how it used to be, until the seriousness returns to his face. First things first, since I'm leading the investigation, I do have some discretion on what details to divulge and to whom. That is, if the confidant can bring value to the investigation. And I've known you for a fact that you can be discreet. Still, I must ask your sworn secrecy on this matter. You've got it. So tell me about the case. Why does it seem to be of paramount importance? It's a multiple murder case, potentially perpetrated by a single culprit. Ooh. That's serious. The victims are chiefly middle-aged women residing north of the city. They're from old money families, the types that make regular appearances at high society events. Oh. I see. No wonder you're all tensed up. You're telling me. Chief took me off every other case and insisted I put all my time and effort into this. It's only a matter of time until the press catches wind and makes a circus of everything. And when some of the victims' peculiar manners of death, he pauses. Is this where the fairies came in? He silently stares and then sighs. I swear, I must be losing my mind. You've got this. Now he draws a long, deep breath. 3 of the victims had a manner of death that the unit has never seen or heard of before. The strangest case is where the body seemingly hardened into bony tissue overnight. Oh jeez, that looks horrendous. Her corpse almost looked like a carved wooden statue. Oh, I've heard of something like that before. Of course you have. He's like, I know, that's why I came to you. I frown at him. Don't start now. He clears his throat abashedly. Without finding out what caused these deaths, and more importantly, who did this, the press could spin the stories out of control. I don't want to imagine the look on the victims' families' faces if and when the papers are making a razz of these poor women's deaths. That's valid. Besides, what kind of depraved, sick bastard goes around murdering women in such a way? The city's already running on fumes. Crime's becoming more rampant day by day. People shouldn't have to look over their shoulder every night. It's no way to live. Even as he lapses into silence, I say nothing. It's not just the city. The rise in crime is bleeding him dry too. Yet, I am unsure of what words could soothe those who are fighting it on the front line. That's true. It's a hard job. I've never been where they are. The frown lines between his eyebrows grow deeper. You know, considering the victim's background, having these murders being exaggerated in papers would pressure the families to insist on closing the case as soon as possible. No matter the cost. No matter who's to blame. You're right. Innocent people are going to bear the brunt for this. This is a terrible situation. I feel my stomach churning. My arms cross on instinct, trying to hold my disquietude in place. Is there anything you can do? I'm just one man. Try as I might, I can't help those rotten police brass from lining their pockets. Nothing but a pack of lowlifes in high places. At least Theo's not a crooked cop. He exhales sharply, his voice laced with contempt. Then he fell into silence yet again. He looks very please, pleading. He's pleading so much. He's please help me. Similarly, words seem to have abandoned me, as I can't shake this feeling of helplessness crawling under my skin. After a minute, he meets my eyes once more. Well, you're a good listener. Better than most. He curls his lips into almost a smile. I don't mind it at all. Thanks. He clears his throat once more. Alright, let's get down to brass tacks. This box includes case files, crime scene photos, a couple of blood samples, which I was able to request to bring to you, and several other pieces of evidence. Other than the strange manners of death I've said, forensics was puzzled by the puzzled too by the blood samples. How so? One of them doesn't contain iron. That's interesting. So nothing surprises you, does it? Well, about this peculiarity. I'd bring up something from my fairy books, but you'd always find a way to deny it. You're right about that. I'm still investigating the possibility of unknown drugs or poison that somehow cause these oddities. But I'd be a fool to not go after my hunches and look into all possibilities. That's true. He's a good detective. What about robbery? It's ruled out. No fingerprints, no evidence of breaking in, nothing had been stolen. And motives? Revenge? We're still interviewing the city elites, looking for the possible motives. But it takes time, you know how it is. Yes, of course. They're very busy. Speaking of city elites, I know people who can be very helpful in getting some inside information. His expression turns sour at full tilt. He's not happy about that. Who? That man? I said people, but yes, that man would be particularly helpful in this matter. He scoffs brazenly. Doesn't even try to hide it. Oh. Even at the first meeting with Mr. Hinkle, there was something inexplicably tension between the two. Theo said something about Mr. Hinkle feeling off, and I always hated it whenever I had something to do with him. Though it might just be jealousy in disguise. You know I'm alright, even if he's barely in the newspapers. He's most likely at the pinnacle of high society. And I don't think he'll mind if I ask him a few things about this. Why, of course, he's always got a soft spot for you. Yeah, there's some jealousy there. Hell, he's probably carrying a torch for you for a long time, judging by the way he follows you everywhere. Well, he happened to be interested in Faeology and has a lot of money to allow its development. We need the funding. We're a university, we have to have some funding. Look at you, all ready to defend him. What are you two, an item now? Oh no. I might have steered this reunion right back to where we were months ago by bringing up Mr. Hinkle. But it was necessary to mention him. I don't know anybody else who would have that much information about high society. We gotta use our sources. Besides, there has never really been anything, even if we did go to fundraising events together from time to time. It was strictly business. Yet again, Theo seems to lose his reason whenever we talk about Mr. Hinkle. I don't have time or the energy to argue with him. What should I do? Let's look in the box. This is tough. Such an intense glare. Let's explain the truth about the relationship and Mr. Hinkle. We're not anything. We go to fundraising events from time to time, but these are work. I've got to get money for my research from somewhere, you know. It's very true. Our relationship is strictly business. He gives me a dirty look. What? Sure, I believe you. No, he doesn't. Yeah, that look definitely says he doesn't believe us. Besides, what I do with him is none of your beeswax. Ooh. His voice becomes even more irritated. That's right, it's not my concern. Do whatever you want with him. You just riled him up. Just make sure he can keep his mouth shut about the case. I can't help but groan at this turn of events. I will. While we're on the subject of useful allies, you mentioned before about blood that doesn't contain iron. I can take the blood samples to the university's chemist. She's good at what she does. And she's from a rich family. She might know some of the victims, or their families at least. I'll trust your judgment. I take it this is you agreeing to help me with the case? That's right. There are lives at stake. He let off a soft smile, as though in quiet agreement with what I said. Aw. We might be butting heads because of our past, but we are united in the front for justice. Thank you. Well, if you think it'll be helpful, you can even ask the people you mentioned what they know using the evidence items. But the case files are for your eyes only. Understood. He has fallen silent somehow, leaving an uncomfortable hush in the air once more. Suddenly, a realization comes to mind. Does this mean you'd be willing to hear about fairies? About Faeology? That depends. If this was indeed fairy doings, and if through your investigation you can provide solid theories on 3 things: the culprit, their methods of murder, and their motives. Supported by evidence, of course. I'm sticking with the idea that there's a logical explanation, an earthly one, for now. Fair enough. I'd wager that we have approximately 24 hours to get some sort of answer. An answer that makes sense. I can feel the papers are close to getting the story. Probably right. While you're investigating this lead, I'll look further into unusual drugs and poisons. How about it, Faeologist? Do you dare take on this challenge? Do I? Let's accept the challenge. Bring it on, detective. This brings a grin to his almost consistent brooding expression. It is a cute expression. Good. If you need anything from me, just ring me. Aye, sir. But you need to promise me that you'll not just hear me out, but also keep an open mind on fairy topics if I succeed in what you asked. I promise. But I can't promise to not to scoff from time to time. That's fair. That's good enough. I ought to get going. Maybe this will be an opportunity for you to increase Faeology's credibility in the eyes of the academics. That is true. Maybe. Seems like some detective has been following this tiny part of Faeology in the newspaper. Says you. The one who had to stop the daily paper subscription from just because some detective kept getting the headlines. How do you... Before I could finish, he had walked towards the door and opened it. See you tomorrow around the same time. All right. I hear the door closed. Hey! I exclaimed with a hint of frustration. After some thought, I realized that he must have noticed the missing newspaper on my desk and my assistant's. Reading papers was part of my daily routine when we were together. He's a detective. He's good at his job. I can only shake my head in disbelief. He hasn't changed much either. As I am reminiscing about a few moments of our past relationship, Oz reveals himself again. Now we're all alone. That was quite the reunion. It was quite the reunion indeed. He hasn't changed at all, has he? I suppose. Although you don't have an obligation to help him. I know. But I've already agreed. Very well. Just don't overwork yourself. Yeah, thanks, Oz. Oz is like, take care of yourself. Self-care is important. I find myself slowly drifting into thoughts. A victim's matter of death, hardening into bony tissue. Could be one of the fairy curses. Ossification. If only I could ask Oz whether a fairy was behind this, and which one. But it is not that simple. Even if they are my lifetime companion, fairies have their own rules about exchanging favors, and they are secretive about their land too. A favor like that doesn't come cheap, that is true. At least I'm stocked up on milk and honey for small requests. Speaking of requests, I should get started on my reply to my patron's letter. For some reason, he seems to be more insistent this time that I come with him to the gala. I retrieve a paper and pen, and I mumble to myself as I write. Dear Mr. Hinkle, I hope your recent forays into high society have proven more fruitful than they have in... Should I be hyperbolic? Yes. Let's do it. More fruitful than they have been in the centuries you've been roaming amongst their lavish ranks. Believe it or not, I have been considering whether the merits of trying to impress the wealthiest folk of the city outweigh the obvious indignities. You first brought up the possibility of my company you to the annual Leos Gala a couple of months ago, and I'm still weighing my options. How do I play this? How do I want to play this? Sounds like I don't want to go. Let's be coy. You shall know my answer definitely if you find me on your arm on the evening of the event. About Rufy, I can't say I'm surprised to hear about her latest flirtations with disaster. Since we are both toddlers, she's frequently found herself in trouble. Her fiery personality certainly doesn't help her get out of quarrels. She sounds fun. I would love to telephone her and ask how she's doing, but we drifted apart a long time ago. Nevertheless, I'm glad to hear that Theo was there to smooth things over for her. I've now arrived at the topic of Theo or Detective Crouse as my patron refers. I suppose this query was meant to uncover whether I still care for Leo. How should I answer? Decisions. I guess I'll put he and I are old news because we're not together. As for Theo, I have long since stopped dwelling on him. The thought of him and I as a relic of the past, and I feel no regret in having ended it when I did. Upon signing off, I seal the letter in wax. Then I turn towards my trusted Fae. Oz, can I please trouble you with something? You want me to deliver this letter to your patron, don't you? Indeed. Time is of the essence here, so I put it off. As always, please take care not to catch anybody's attention. He'll see it by tomorrow morning, I'm sure. It would be my pleasure. Thank you, Oz. I'm off. I'll see you later today. Bye, Oz. He's very cute. They're very cute. I watch as Oz flits out of my office window and vanishes. Once the Fae is gone, I call my assistant to my office. Yes, Professor? Hold on 1 second. I rifle through the contents of the box. Carefully, I extract the blood samples that Theo mentioned. They appear to be stored in test tubes. Would you mind asking Dr. Rayford to analyze these blood samples? I'll do that, sure. As I hand the samples to her, I notice that she looks like she wants to say something. Over the 2 years we have been working together, I've picked up on a few of her tells. What is it, Minnie? How'd it go with the detective? If you don't mind me asking. Oh no, not at all. He's the same as always. There's lingering beef, of course, but we've sort of managed to put it aside for something more important. He has brought me a rather significant case that he suspects might have some supernatural elements, as hard as it was for him to admit it. Oh, good for him. I can't help but grin at her remark. I'm glad it didn't end with a shouting match, at least. Yeah, me too. Yes, me too. I'll deliver the blood samples now, Professor. Thank you, Minnie. Minnie hurries out. I'm alone in my office again. Remembering the conversation about the case, I'm suddenly engulfed by unexplainable eerie feelings. I should start the investigation right away. All right. Tutorial time. Drag and drop items from the inventory to the desk. Select an item in the records, then press the icon to open the inspector and read insights you've gathered. Hover the magnifying glass above an evidence to access the information and see the details in it. Use the black light to see invisible things. Read the encyclopedia to gain additional information. Press the button to end the investigation. All right. All right. Case file number 1. I guess we can put everything out. My. These poor ladies. Okay. So let's is this her photo? Okay. Yeah, let's do by case first. I mixed everything up. The encyclopedia, magnifying glass. Victim's first crime scene. It's the first time I encounter something that could be ossification. I feel sick to my stomach. No one deserves to die like this. Yeah, it looks very gruesome. Something's off with her fingers. Their fingers. Victim's first crime scene. Something that's off with her fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's got extra fingers. Huh. Can we use these together? Ah! Well, she's got more fingers. Audrey Woodridge, age 51 years old. Manner of death, hardening into bony tissue. From afar, the corpse looks like a carved wooden statue. Time of death, around 1 p.m. Victim profile, an affluent middle-aged woman in the city. The victim reported hearing strange noises and seeing strange phenomena in the days immediately preceding her death. The interviewing officer suspected, due to the victim's strange behavior, involvement in occult matters. Report. No traces of drugs or poisons from what could be extracted from the body. Further autopsy is still in process due to the victim's manner of death. Woodridge. That's a familiar name. Okay. Notable instance changelings. These unconfirmed rumors that the high faes like to capture humans and bring them into the Faeland for purposes such as forced reproduction, servitude, ritualized combat for their amusement, and so on. The fairies leave changelings behind to mask their absence. A changeling is composed of several fae, typical of the parasitic type, magically transformed to look almost exactly like an abducted human. Yeah, they've got extra finger. So maybe. Due to the complexity of the fae magic required to create a changeling, the enchantment almost always goes awry. Abnormalities common among changelings include an extra finger or an extra toe. Nearby heat conductors, such as small metallic objects, also have been known to repel or to warp the magic, creating changelings. So that could be. Alright, faes with limited magic consistently needed to feed off other sources of energy, mostly drained from humans, such as blood, hormones, emotions, and life force. However, the mechanisms and rates at which these drainage processes occurred are greatly varied. Okay. Maybe we should start near the beginning. Fae and insects. Some Faeologists have applied Darwin's theory of natural selection to Fae kind by putting them in the same genealogical line as insects, especially the Lepidoptera group, which includes moths and butterflies. It is supported by their similarities to each other. Beneath a special black light, some species of butterflies can glow by having a chemical known as phosphorus, which fairies also have. Interesting. So this will probably make fairies in the photos glow. The similarities of fairy kind to insects, such as birds and others in the animal kingdom, manifest in terms of the variance of Fae magical abilities. One magical skill possessed by some Fae is transfiguration, which is similar to metamorphosis. Wielders of transfigurative spells can make themselves or a fellow Fae take on another form, including a fearing human. Many high faes have heightened powers of suggestion through the emission of toxins capable of causing hypnosis or illusions. Although quite rare, some high faes can transform living things into solid objects such as stone or bone. That's where we're talking about the ossification stuff. Another example of fae magic is invisibility, which is similar to camouflage. There may be other types of magical powers that have not yet been documented. Okay. Fae factions and conflict. There are two main factions of high fae, the scribes and the warriors. The scribes are known for their defensive magic and their intelligence. The warriors are known for their power and their offensive magic. Meanwhile, the low fae faction is comprised of faes with limited parasitic magic. They are widely maligned species that like to consume human blood, hormones, and even souls. Ooh. They get pretty hardcore. The history of Fae class conflict is not very well documented. It appears that there are quarrels between these factions, as there is a certain level of disdain for the other faction. However, disputes also occur between fairies of the same faction. Nonetheless, both factions of high fae deem parasites despicably low fae due to the limited and parasitic nature of their magic. Okay. All fairy kind seem to be weak against iron, Although a small amount of iron, such as in meat or blood, does not seem to ward off fairies. Historically, cold iron was often forged as weapons and used to repel fairy magic. The intricate use of iron combined with physics and chemistry is applied by Faeologists to develop a special black light to detect and distinguish the magical essence of the three main types of Fae. Oh. Beneath the black light, scribes' magics appear blue, warrior magic red, and parasitic magic purple or violet. Sustained black light illumination on an object imbued with fairy magic may reveal intricate details of certain complex spells. That is fascinating. Whee! Can I open it? I don't know. Scribe fairies. The scribes are high fays who are capable of expressing benevolence and kindness, similar to humans' kindness, and they tend to be friendlier to humans. However, this kindness is only shown in the form of favor exchanges, and they do not go out of their way to help others like humans would. The scribe magic that assists humans is contingent upon the favor that humans deliver to them. For example, some scribe fairies may use their magic to give blessings to humans who have done very special favors or boons for them via inheritable invisible markings such as sigils or birthmarks. These blessings can last through generations. The rumored Fae-touched bloodlines have become wealthy and powerful through the decades that they have been favored. However, they may also use their magic as a curse, sometimes even deadly, if they feel offended or insulted. Some scribe fairies are also prone to pranks and mischief when they are bored. Warrior fairies. The high fays of warrior faction frequently reside in groups and are territorial. They are protective of their troops and tend to be unfriendly towards outsiders, especially if they come from the scribe faction or are human. They will smite anyone who interferes with their group. Humans entering their territory, even if accidentally, may face elimination through the warrior's offensive magic. Although fairy warriors typically remain within their own kind and seldom venture beyond the boundaries of the Fae realm, they are known for their aggressive temperament and volatile disposition. Caution is strongly advised when encountering and interacting with these beings. Okay, so we've already read about the parasitic ones. So this could be the extra finger could be that this person's a changeling, or they've been, tampered with. So let's see. Who is this? Mary. All right. Name, Mary Hatcher, age 19 years old. Manner of death, death from shock due to arsenic poison. Time of death, around 6. Victim profile, a young factory girl. Despite not fitting the trend of the previous victim profiles, she has been preliminarily included in this case because she was seen having a heated conversation with the third victim shortly before that victim's death. Third victim, okay. The victim's father described her as not acting like herself in the days before she passed. Shortly before her death, the victim visited the police station. According to an interviewing officer, she seemed to be on the brink of confessing something when a look of terror suddenly crossed her face. She then appeared to change her mind. She hurriedly left the station without saying anything further to an interviewing officer. Prior to death, the victim suffered from violent abdominal cramping followed by diarrhea and vomiting. Goodness. Consistent with the effects of arsenic poisoning. Traces of said poisoning can be found in the blood type A, in the glass she was drinking from near the time of death. blood contains iron and other elements commonly found in human blood. Okay. Alright, so she was after the third victim. She was arguing with Edna. Ooh, those fingers. This is the third victim's crime scene. Her fingers. I've seen corpse before, but never like this. There's another strange thing about her fingers. She has more than she should as well. Oh, there's a lot more stuff. Okay. Alright, so we haven't looked at Susan's. Okay. Seems to be the second victim's crime scene. Her complexion. It's not quite the pale hue of death. Far paler than should be possible. Almost drained of color. Something's odd with her fingers. Yeah, all of them have the weird fingers going on. Okay, it's the Woodridge family photo. More family photo. Old coin. Makeup, ring, and imitation. Woodridge. Okay. Susan Moore. Nedbits. Woodridge. Okay, so that's Audrey there. Okay. So this middle-aged woman in the colored blouse is a victim. I guess this elderly man in the suit is her father? This elderly woman wearing the cardigan is her mother, I suppose. This speckled man is perhaps her brother? No one's there to die like this. Something's odd with her fingers. Yeah, we already looked at that. I saw something on their hands. Yep. Definitely looks up. Okay, so nothing on the photograph. Alright, we already looked at that. Something on their hands, yes. So only on those two. So Dad maybe did something. Some reason interesting. And then we have the Moore family photo. Which one was Moore? Susan Moore. Okay. So this middle-aged woman with the pearls is a victim. Guess this elderly man with facial hair is her father. The elderly woman with the fur color is her mother, I suppose. The other man in the dark suit is maybe her brother? Maybe. She doesn't have a wedding ring on this one. She seems to have. Wait, what's that on her hand? She's got the mark too. Try to see if I can combine the tools. Alright. Interesting. So it just says old coin. Never seen a coin like this before. It looks rare. What's happening? Yeah, it's got like a purple view on it. Sustained black light emulation on object in view. Fairy magic may reveal intricate details of certain complex spells. The parasitic magic is supposed to be purple. Scribe magic is blue. So this is like purple. So it's the parasitic one. I wonder who's that belong to. Makeup. Seen this makeup powder somewhere recently. It's from Nectar Bell. This must belong to one of them, but which? Or if the owner likes the box design and carrying around in her pocket since it's already been used up. Perhaps the chemist has some interesting insights since her family owns the brand. Okay. Might be in one of the other photos. Might also be able to look out for the coin too. Let's put this up for a second. All right. So, don't see. I don't see the coins or anything, any of those. The ring. She's got a ring on. That's why I'm wondering if this is her ring. Wedding ring. Seems to be made of gold. it's got the purple one. And so did the coin. So we're seeing signs of the parasitic invitation. The invitation is there. For the gala. Rest your honor at the presence of this annual Leos Gala. That's what we've been talking about. Saturday, 20th of October, 8 o'clock in the evening. Proper attire requested. My patron invited me to this event. I'm still uncertain if I want to attend. I don't know. I think we're gonna have to. So she's got that invitation. Our fingers, yep. Okay. So. So that was Neblet. That is who, the fourth one was arguing with. Mary was arguing with them. There's a lot going on in this. I am not sure. All right. Let's put the tools up for now. Case. Okay. The crime scene of the photographer, the fourth victim, displays her manner of death. She was seemingly poisoned. Yeah, she doesn't have any extra fingers or anything. But, she was arguing with Edna. Case 3. Now it's not telling me anything about it. Case 4. Manner death from shock due to arsenic poisoning. No, despite not fitting the trend of the previous victim, she's been fully included in this case because she was last seen had a heated conversation. She's not acting like herself. According to the interviewing officer, she's going to be on the brink of confessing. And she ran off. Okay. All right. We read through all that already. Smudge one breaking. So on her hand, did the coin or something erase the file? There's a lot going on. All right. Everything on the table. Okay. So something on their hands. Yeah, we already did that. I hope we're not like screwing this up. So the purple magic. Edna Neglet, 64 years old. Matter of death, gnawing her own fingers down to the bone. Time of death around 10. An influent middle-aged woman in the city. A friend of the victim reported that she had seen the victim's residence to drop off an invitation prior to the victim's death. A friend also wanted to check on the victim's well-being because she had allegedly been acting strangely at the party the night before. According to the friend, she witnessed an emotionally charged conversation between the victim and a young factory girl. Yeah. However, the friend didn't think much of the interaction at the time. At the crime scene, the invitation card dropped off by the friend was seen close to the victim's corpse and was taken in as evidence. Yeah, that right there. Forensic report, no traces of drugs or poison, blood type unknown. Other blood-related investigations are underway. Blood does not contain iron. Okay, so that's this one. So, there brings crime scene. Her fingers, I've seen corpse broken out like this. Yeah, she's got extra fingers. So she's got no iron in her blood, and yeah, invitation. Texture looks interesting. Let's move this over here. Picture of it, we see this episode 1 if I out of 10. Alright. So this does not show anything on the invitation. Is this one with an interesting texture? Yeah. I mean, it's got that. Okay. I've seen this before. This is a parasitic fae. A failed transformation magic? Okay, we're finding out stuff. So... The red is more interesting. There's no mistaking it. The structure of the thorax, antenna curvature, elongated legs, they are exactly the same as the parasitic fae I catalogued several months ago. What happened to you, poor fae? Of course, no response is forthcoming. Interesting. That was in the coin. Do we know where the coin was? Colored blouse is the victim. All right. So we have found the fae. We also know that has a parasitic ring. Wedding ring, seizing native gold. Seems to be hurry, isn't it? More the Woodbridge. Now Susan Moore. She's the one with the colored. This was the one that's Moore. Yeah, Woodbridge. No, that's Woodbridge. That is Hatcher. Is this one's Moore? No, no. Okay. It's the Moore family photo. That was the Woodbridge photo. Okay, so the Woodbridge. This one. Okay. Okay. I need to figure out more about this, I think. That's Susan Moore's case is not showing here. Okay. Poor little fairy. This fae, apparently deceased, lacks one of its wings. The missing wing was likely ripped out before its death. The fae is of the parasitic class from the violet traces back right. It shows some traces of red. Yes. Okay. Don't see anything too crazy about that. And this has the parasitic glow on it as well. Can't find anything on that. They got it on their hands. Huh. They should do the gala. Wedding ring from the second victim. Beneath the black light, the ring has mostly violet and some red traces of magic. Photo displays the first victim, Audrey Woodridge, and her family. See some traces of marking on the hands of the two people. Beautiful cosmetic eyeshadow adorning with gold accents, butterfly motifs, and a beautiful lady on the cover. The crime scene photo of the first victim displays her manner of death, specifically hardening into bony tissue. This phenomenon is known as ossification. There seems to be something strange with the victim's fingers. That's the dead fae. So we already read through that. For some reason that does not have anything on it. This photo displays the second victim, Susan Moore, and her family. See some kind of markings on the hand of one person. The crime scene photo of the third victim displays her manner of death, specifically gnawing her own fingers down to the bone. Apart from the wounds from gnawing, this is another strange thing about the victim's fingers. Yeah, there's too many of them. The crime scene photo of the fourth victim displays her manner of death. She was seemingly poisoned. There's nothing odd in the photo. We already read through that. Crimes found of the second victim's place of manner of death, which is refusing to drink anything but her own blood. There seems to be something strange with the victim's fingers. Interesting. Okay. Susan Moore, age 40 years old. Manner of death, refusing to drink anything but her own blood. Time of death, around 11 a.m. Victim profile, an affluent middle-aged woman in the city. The victim's mother reported the victim was suffering from a prolonged paranoid episode in the days leading to her death. Specifically, the victim was acting erratically and saying strange things. Despite the manner of death, there are no signs of dehydration or hemochromatosis, no traces of blood or poisons. Blood type unknown. Other blood-related investigations are underway. Blood does not contain iron. Okay. That was wild. Are you sure you want to end the investigation now? Yes. There's a lot going on. Knocking the door makes me glance up from my desk. I realize the sun has set while I've been absorbed in the investigation. Been kind of busy. Come in. My assistant enters the office. Dr. Rayford has arrived to drop off the blood samples, and she wants to talk to you. Already? Yes, she's just out the door. I must say I'm pleasantly surprised at her work speed. All right, send her in. Minnie nods. She returns to reception area. Dr. Florence Rayford enters. It has only been 3 years since she has worked at the university, but she has proven her reliability more often than not. Good evening, Professor. Good evening, Doctor. Dr. Rayford hands over the blood samples. She also gives me her lab report. Here you go. Thank you. So, what have you found? The most peculiar thing is that there is no iron in one of the blood samples. Say, is this fairy related? Her question prompts me to ask myself, to what extent of the case can I divulge to her? Theo did say that I may ask the patron or her for information using some of the evidence. Although she has knowledge of fairies and their curses, can she handle seeing crime scene photographs? As I return from my thoughts, I notice her voice has taken on a higher pitch. This is so exciting! Are you working with the police? Does this mean that we'll get better credibility in the eyes of the public? Oh my, we're going to be in the newspapers, aren't we? And not in the usual corner spots, too. Oh, I can hardly contain myself. It appears she took my silence as a yes. It's good that she's excited about the possibility of advancement for Faeology, but her cheerful disposition can sometimes be rather overstimulating. As if on cue, a knock on the door arrived to spare me. This specific sound is familiar, more familiar than when my assistant knocks. Special delivery. Mr. Hinkle's hands are empty. And what, pray, might you be bringing for me? Is it you? Are you the special delivery, Mr. Hinkle? If you wish to call me special, then I certainly won't stop you. But I did bring a box of huckleberry muffins for your office. Ooh, muffins. Minerva was instantly enamored by their buttery scent. She's currently feasting on them. We can only hope she'll leave a muffin apiece for the rest of us. I know how that feels, Minerva. Let's go. Oh, hello there, Florence. I didn't expect to see you in this office. Hello, Mr. Hinkle. Fancy seeing you here. Although you do have a habit of making this office your sole stop on campus. She chuckles. That's just because this is where all my money went. We get all the money. A well-spent investment, nonetheless. He makes a retort at Dr. Rayford, but throws a subtle smile in my direction. How cheeky. So, Florence, what's been occupying your time as of late? She looks at me briefly, possibly wondering whether she should tell him about what she did for me. The usual matters, I suppose. I tried asking your father about you at the last soiree. However, he confessed he didn't have the faintest idea. You must tell me more about your chemical research one of these days. The colorful pursuits of you young academics thrill me to no end. You know I can't share all that much, Mr. Hinkle. Unless, of course, you find yourself in the position to become the chemistry department's benefactor. Then all their secrets are yours. A more playful giggle escapes her lips this time. I'm afraid I'm all tapped out, financially speaking. Oh, I'm not buying that one. Not for a second. He's telling fibs, isn't he, Professor? Don't put me in the middle of this. Well, now, I certainly don't want to get in the middle of the money talk of the rich. I wish I had that information, Doctor. It would make proposing for research much easier, with a bit of delicate leverage, naturally. Mr. Hinkle laughs in amusement. I feel I should ask the reason he's here before this conversation takes an odd turn. On another note, Mr. Hinkle, did you get my letter? Is that the real reason you dropped by? Upon recalling that I asked Oz to insert the letter into his mailbox only this afternoon, I'm about to retract these questions. Unexpectedly, though, he bows his head in assessment. Your words have always had this immersive impact on me. Perhaps that is why you are such an effective educator. Whenever I encounter your written language, I long to hear it spoken post-haste. Are you putting a spell on your letters by any chance? I think you're the one with all the spells, Mr. Hinkle. Your muffins, for one, have always been successful in getting Minnie's guards down. Oh dear, you two are making me blush. I suppose it's time that I take my leave and let you both be. I'm due somewhere shortly anyhow. Oh no, that might not be necessary. I can't stay longer either. Mr. Hinkle lapses into silence as he continues staring into my eyes. It's difficult to maintain eye contact with him, but even harder to look away. I wonder what I should do. I ought to discuss the case, but both of them seem to be in a hurry. Should I tell Mr. Hinkle to return another day, since I need to have an important conversation with Dr. Rayford right away? Or should I dismiss the chemist and meet with my patron now? There are benefits to either choice. Soliciting Dr. Rayford's opinion on the case may be a good idea. She could share more insight on the chemistry side of the case. Her parents own a successful company that produces the powder makeup and evidence. She would also know the social happenings among the wealthy elites. On the other hand, Mr. Hinkle is also a viable candidate for an interview. His connections with high society know no bounds. Everybody seems to know him one way or another. He might know things Dr. Rayford doesn't. Since he has been funding my research for a long time, he's also more familiar with fairy topics. Whom should I interview? Oh, that's a tough choice. We barely, well, as the player, I barely know both of them. Both do have those good benefits, but I think I would go with Dr. Rayford. Dr. Rayford, would you mind staying a little longer? I'd like to hear your opinion about something. Dr. Rayford glances at me and then at Mr. Hinkle, and then back at me with a glimmer of mischief in her smile. Are you sure, Professor? I let out a resigned sigh. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to deal with her teasing. Yes. We're so sure. When I address my patron once more, regret colors my tone. Mr. Hinkle, would you mind coming back another day? I have something crucial to discuss with the doctor at present. Of course, I understand your scientific pursuits precede all else. I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you for dropping off those muffins. Yeah, thanks for the food. He only replies with a smile. I'll see you soon, right? As soon as possible, I promise. Mr. Hinkle and Dr. Rayford exchange brief goodbyes. My patron then departs. I'm alone with the chemist again. Doctor, I might need your further assistance regarding the blood samples and also something more pressing. So it is true. You're working with the police. I suppose. Detective Crouse consulted me this morning about an ongoing criminal case. Oh, do I sense some old flame flickering back to life? She's just always teasing me. Your eyes are tricking you, Doctor. It has been ashes for a long time now, and nothing has changed. There's a hint of disbelief in her eyes, but I won't indulge in her playful teasing, as there is more important matter at hand. Yes. Let's focus. I clear my throat. So, I would also like to ask you for information, as you may be acquainted with some of the victims or their friends and families. All right. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you, although I do need your sworn secrecy on this. Of course. I'm adept at keeping secrets. You need not worry. Those samples I analyzed are part of the evidence in this case, right? That's right. Let us begin. I tell her the fundamental facts of the case while she listens silently all the while. When I finish my summation, she only has one word to say to me. Interesting. Alright, so we can't show her the case files. I found traces of arsenic in this blood sample. Yes, that was reported by the forensics team too. One wonders who could have done such a thing to the poor girl. Actually, chemists do sell arsenic to common people to make their own weed killer and rat poison. I haven't done that in some time, not since the university contract. But I'm sure the detective has asked his henchmen to collect purchases records from chemists all over the city, don't you think? Probably. So, this got your one. Ah, yes, the most intriguing piece of evidence. It's weird, isn't it, that it doesn't contain iron at all, even though it looks just like human blood. Not to mention the high percentage of phosphorus. Would you let me know if it ended up being a fairy after all? Only if I'm allowed. Is there insight from chemistry as to why there would be no iron in a red-colored blood? Sadly, no. I'm just as puzzled myself. Just thinking. Alright. It's a lab report. I want her to explain that to me. I've done my best to put all the details through there, although I might have missed something regarding the curious blood sample. Okay. This is tomorrow's gala. I'll not be going there since the opera's playing. I didn't know you were an opera doc. My late husband and I used to go there for one of our date nights. Sadness leaks through her eyes, even though her smile stays bright. I hadn't noticed she'd been married before. Yeah, she's not wearing any ring or anything. Speaking of which, I spotted Detective Crouse at the Met during last month's performance. He appeared to be enjoying the opera, accompanied by an attractive tall blonde woman. It was quite the unexpected sight. I never took him for an admirer of opera. Well, that's a new one on me. Good for him. Good for him. Seems like she's trying to get me to react. Let's see. My, are you proposing to me, Professor? I'm afraid my heart still belongs to my late husband. I can hear sorrow seeping through her peppy voice. Quietly, I slipped the ring back into the box. Alright. Yes, this is what I really need to talk to her about. Oh, my parents' greatest achievement. It's one of the things I wanted to ask you, Doctor. I don't know how much about makeup. How popular is this powder among high society? The powder has been the craze lately among the upper class, since my parents have successfully gotten Mary Pickford to do its advertisement. Well, I'll be. All right. Don't know if I want to show her the dead fairy. This is Mrs. Moore and her family. Can you tell me what you know of them? Well, I've heard that when Mrs. Moore's biological parents passed away, she was adopted by her parents' trusted employees, from whom she received a lot of love. These employees couldn't have children, you see. Her biological parents left her a substantial inheritance, which she received when she came of age. Then she was married, out of love, to a wealthy entrepreneur. They were hand in hand wherever they went. It's a sad thing. Her luck seemed to slip away just when she needed it most. Dr. Rayford seems to know more about Mrs. Moore than she let on earlier. While she sounds quite sympathetic, I can somehow sense a hint of jealousy in her voice. Because she married out love. So some more. Which one? Mrs. Moore? She seems to recognize the victim quite fast. We met once or twice at a clothing store and exchanged a few pleasantries. Occasionally I would see her and her husband at various dinner parties as well. They were a lovely couple. I guess I sure will see. A dead bug? Is this part of the evidence? Yeah, I wasn't sure if you know what that was. Alright. Let's show her the Woodridge. This is the family photo of the Woodridges. Oh yes, it was everywhere in the papers when her father married the famous and one of the most beautiful socialites. The other man here is Mrs. Woodruff's stepbrother. Do you know anything about these people? Aside from being famously wealthy and well-known, not particularly. Okay. Let's look at the bridge. There's no sound to be heard as she stares at this photograph for a little while. I wonder if it was too much for her. Is this Miss Woodridge? It's a little difficult to recognize her because of the, well, she speaks with her usually sunny look, which is quite surprising. Yes, she has a strong stomach. Yes, you're correct. What do you know of her? Everyone knows her and her family, that's pretty sure. They're one of the richest in the city, the elites of the elites. According to their circle, consists of only a very selected people, such as your patron, I imagine. Oh, and their family likes to host charity events. Did you ever know her to dabble in occult matters? Unfortunately, what I told you previously is all I know about her. If she did dabble, do you think maybe her manner of death is a result of occult matters? It is certainly a possibility. I should have asked my patron more about this. Oh well. Guess we'll show her the other photos, might as well. Oh yes, I know her, although I can't seem to recall her name. Mrs. Neblett. That's right. Saw her quite often at the auction. Only going for rare coins. Okay, so Neblett's the one with the coin. As usual, the minimum bid was hers. I wonder if some of those coins carried some sort of curse, since they came from God knows where. Okay, so Neblett might have gotten the poison coin. Yeah, we don't have the coin on us, or we're not showing the coin. Mary Hatcher. We didn't show her that one yet. Do you happen to know this girl? Unfortunately, no. I don't know her. It's surprising that she seemed rather unfazed by quite the gruesome photographs. What if she has seen worse deaths caused by chemicals? Although even if I had seen worse, I doubt I can muster such cheer. I've never realized this peculiar side of her. Interesting. Got all information you needed? I think so. I have no further questions. I believe I have enough information for now. Is that so? Well, all right. Earlier you mentioned you had a prior arrangement, so I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for your time. You've been incredibly helpful. It's no problem. Don't hesitate to reach out if you require anything else. I gave her a brief nod. Wasn't a lot of information. I probably could have got more from Mr. Hinkle. Dr. Rayford then departs from my office. I'm alone again, but not for long. My assistant pops into the office. Professor, I'm heading home soon. Is there anything else I can do to help? No, I'll be perfectly fine. I think I'll stay and work for a bit longer. Okay. See you tomorrow, Professor. Have a safe trip home. Upon wishing me the same, Minnie leaves. Minnie's very cute. I like her hair. I have some time until I have to wrap up my workday and head home from the office. I guess we can look over the stuff. So I got a lab report. That's the case. There's the lab report. This is Dr. Rayford's lab report on the blood samples. The content is quite similar to the forensic reports. While elements similarly found in human blood, such as phosphorus, carbohydrates, and some proteins, are found in the third victim's blood, it doesn't contain iron. Moreover, the amount of phosphorus found is in a higher percentage than that in human blood, making it possible for this to be the blood of a fairy. The fourth victim's blood appears to be normal human blood, with iron present. Traces of arsenic are also found. Although there is some new information, I expected the report to be more detailed. Then again, I did ask her to finish it as soon as possible, and she delivered. Okay. So yeah, I think it's just going to show me the same information I had before. Okay. So, my source mentioned a notable closeness between the second victim and her husband. No trace of drugs. Yeah. So that was that's the third one. Neblet, who has the ring. No, she had the coin. The coin completely was burned up. So Dr. Rafer's parent owned the company that produces this makeup, Nectar Bell. Okay. So yeah, so she was the one with the chewed her fingers and also had the coin. Okay. Miss Mary Hatcher. She had arsenic poisoning. So she was in an argument with Miss Neblet, so maybe it might have been about the coin. Could be. Didn't really expect to find anything in there, but didn't hurt to look. All right. Let's just look at everything then. It's unclear the victim was involved in occultism. So we're just going through the information. Victim and her husband were often seen together. My source doesn't know her. She was known from her peers from her rare coin collection. A source pinpointed their relatives. The photo consists of family members: the victim, biological father, stepmother, and stepbrother. So my source pinpointed their relations. The photos consist of family members, the victim, adopted father, adopted mother, and the victim's husband. Okay. And you did notice on her hand, but not on the other ones. The man in dark suit sees the husband of the victims. The woman with the pearls, supposed close to his in-laws. This means the other two of the victims' adopted parents. Okay. I don't know if we need to do that for every photo. I wonder if other people from their clique are involved in occultism. Mrs. Moore and her husband seemingly like delightful individuals. Alright. And Dr. Rayford didn't know her at all. Yeah. Poor girl. Seems the coin and evidence is hers. And the invitation. So this middle-aged woman in the colored blouse and the elder man in the suit are father and daughter, related by blood. And the other two are the stepmother and stepbrother. So that's why they don't have it. Yeah, they have the mark on their hands though. Man in darker suit seems to be a victim of the husband of the victim, the woman with the pearls. She's supposedly close to his in-laws. So yeah, we said that and we saw the mark on her hand, but none of the other ones. There's no mistaking it. The structure of the thorax, antenna curvature, elongated legs, they're exactly the same as the parasitic fae I cataloged several months ago. What happened to you, poor fae? Alright. Seen this before. It's a parasitic fae. No surprise, this powder has been all the rage for the upper set. They managed to get Mary Pickford for their advertisements. It must have been where I knew it from. Alright. I can't begin to imagine how her husband must feel, losing his soulmate this way. Yeah. That's pretty sad. What Dr. Rayford said about Theo comes to mind. I wonder if he has moved on after all. Maybe he has. I read somewhere that most insects don't have iron in their blood. Ah. Interesting. So it's a parasitic fae blood. Okay. Beneath the black light, the blood sample has mostly violet and red traces. Yeah. Catcher. Arsenic, huh? Alright, so that's what it wanted us to do. Blood sample from the fourth victim. Alright. Yes, I think we're getting better at this. We're figuring it out. It's the next afternoon. Okay, so we're getting better at figuring out the investigations. So, we're slowly piecing this together. should be grading assignments. Oh no, my work's gonna get backlogged. For reviewing the lecture I'm going to deliver come Monday. Or do anything productive in the realm of professional duties. Instead, I find my attention straying more and more toward the office door. I voice my frustrations to good old Oz. Oz, what are we gonna do? Theo will probably arrive at any moment. I can't stop wondering whether my explanation will be enough for him. In the past, no sort of explanation ever seemed to please him when it came to fairies. And why should it do so now? My voice cracks with concern. This time he came to you bearing in mind the possibility of fairy involvement. He'd be a fool if he discredits you so soon. My fairy companion's chirping becomes increasingly stern this time. But you need to get yourself together. I do. You must remain steadfast and strong when facing the detective. Don't permit your voice to falter when presenting your findings. I know I can't let myself unravel at this point. It's just that he's never solicited my opinion quite in this manner. A professional insight, no less. All the more reason to be calm as you can be. Maintaining your composure is essential to delivering a persuasive argument. But no matter what happens, at least you know you tried. At the end of the day, he's the one who needs to solve this case. You're right, of course you are. I'm not a detective. I'm simply a professor sharing my perspective. Thank you, Oz, for always talking me off the ledge. Just then, somebody knocks on the door. That's my cue to sail past your window ledge. Best of luck. I whisper a hurried goodbye to my fairy friend. I'll see you tonight, Oz. Once Oz has flown out, I direct my attention towards the door. Come in. My assistant marches in. Professor, you have a visitor. The detective? Minnie nods. All right, send him in. Minnie nods once again and walks out of the room. Hello, Theo. Theo paces around a little bit after strolling in. He appears quite distracted. He finally stops and opens his mouth. So, what have you learned? I take a deep breath. Here it goes. Ooh, the music got stern. I have to present my findings to perhaps the most sought-after detective in the police force. Theo investigates cases right where the crime scenes unfold. He's agonizingly familiar with the grit and the grime of the city's darkest recesses. Meanwhile, as a professor, my expertise primarily revolves around the nebulous, the theoretical. I must do my best to stay calm and collected, just as Oz suggested. I've read the case files. The victim's odd behavior shortly before death could be due to hypnotic spells from fairies. The fourth victim went to the police station, but before she said anything, it seemed she saw something that scared her away. What if she saw something not human? At the manner of death, he interrupts me before I can finish. I have no time for assumptions. The papers telephoned our department this morning, said they found out about some of these deaths. That's why he looks agitated. The chief is preparing a statement for tomorrow regarding this. So I'll just cut to the chase. Is there fairy involvement? I'm gonna say yes. I'm certain of it. I can tell his interest is piqued. However, I'd like to first lay out the basics since I'm pretty sure you discarded the things I've told you in the past. He grumbles as if in admission of my statement. He's like, yes, I know. I brushed this off long enough. So far, we've identified 3 cases of fairy: warrior, scribe, and parasitic fae. Warriors have strong offensive magic, scribes' magic tend to be defensive, and parasitic magic is, well, parasitic. We Faeologists have developed a tool called black light to detect traces of fae magic. It can't even be detected through photographs if the magic is especially strong. Warrior magic glows red, scribe magic glows blue, and parasitic magic shines purple. I found that seemingly fairies of one specific class are behind this. Which one is the culprit? I think the parasitic fae. The scribe faes, I've seen those on the hands, but I think the parasitic faes are the one that's causing problems. They are the parasitic class. What is the evidence? I would say the biggest indicator is the 3rd victim's blood sample. How does this prove parasitic involvement? I slot the blood sample beneath the black light to show the magic traces. You see, it glows under the black light. I can see the purple traces, but what about this red glow? I'm taking a moment to collect my thoughts. You're right, I must have missed it. What else you got? The ring. How does this prove parasitic involvement? I place the ring under the black light. You see, Mrs. Moore's ring glows purple under the black light. But what about this red glow? He's right. How did I not see this? I did say something about the red glow. You're right. It seems I missed it. Theo let out a long sigh. The look on his face says it all. He's profoundly disappointed. Wow. I swallowed back a lump rising in my throat. Clearly you haven't been thorough in your investigation. I don't know what else I was supposed to do. Either you're missing important things or you just take this as seriously as I thought. Wow. But I do take it seriously. If I could reinvestigate, it's hard to get any sentences out of my mouth. No words of mine could ease the way he sees me now. It doesn't matter. We're running out of time. I couldn't find proof of it being unusual drugs or poisons either. Even the most atypical drugs don't cause this kind of bizarre hallucinations. No poisons could turn the whole body into hardened bones. His eyes narrow me, full of quiet accusations. Honestly, I can't believe this. Dang, dude. You've dedicated many, many years to study forensic Faeology, and this is all you have to show for it. What are you? I know you're clever, capable, competent, but you ought to consider changing your field. Wow, you're not cut out for forensics. I feel like I'm starting to see red. Can't believe he's bringing up my profession in this way. I know I messed up, but you just crossed a goddamn line. Oh gosh. He knows I tried my best. Give me the living time, but he just keeps hammering away. It hits me all over again how easy it is for him to make me feel very small. Yeah, he doesn't deserve you. I'm just laying down the facts. Nah, you're being a jerk. You're mad because you don't have the answers. He says it so nonchalantly, as if he doesn't see the effect of his opinion on me. I can't do this anymore. My anger is beyond containment. I never want to see you again. Get out. Fine by me. I don't plan on ever coming back to this office anyhow. Upon picking up the box of evidence, Theo turns to leave. Don't let the door hit you on your way out. He slams it. I find myself striding restlessly in my room, seething with frustration. Perhaps this is for the best. After all, there's a reason I walked away, and it's all coming back to me. As I was steadying my breaths to calm down, I realized something. I hadn't explained Dr. Redford's findings on the blood samples, how it could be fairy blood, and the significance of the scribe sigils of prominent families. She gave me additional information, too, on the victims as well as the popularity of the makeup. I didn't have the chance to tell him all that. Well, so be it. I'm not going to write him or telephone him. Perhaps I'll just write an anonymous letter to the homicide department. But first, I ought to finish creating the assignments I neglected yesterday. Dang. It's been an hour and a half since I forced myself to get back to work, yet my anger hasn't subsided. Then it strikes me. I'm no more angry at Theo than I am at myself. How did I fail this? Why wasn't I thorough enough? Still, it doesn't give him the right to talk to me like that. Yeah, for real. I bury my face in my hands as I realize that I have merely been spinning in circles. Professor, is this a bad time? I look at her in shock. When did she get in? I knocked, then waited for a minute. It then occurred to me that perhaps she didn't hear me. Oh, sorry. Sorry for just self-loathing. My mind is more than a little preoccupied. The detective had an intensely brooding expression when he left. I figured that the meeting didn't go well. You have a visitor waiting at reception area. It's Mr. Hinkle, isn't it? I meant to meet him today. I nearly forgot. I can tell him to come back another day. No. I do want to see him. He might be the only person on Earth who can make me feel better right now. I'll send him in right away. My patron is beaming when he strides in. But one look at my face is all it takes for the smile to slip away. Whatever is the matter? You look like someone died. It's because of Detective Crouse, isn't it? I can sulk another time. It's like, it's fine. It's fine. We should get going, shouldn't we? I did agree to accompany you to the Leo Scala. That can wait, my dear. Everything can wait. My priority now, and always will be, ensuring that you're okay. With just a tiny bit of coaxing from my patron, I divulged all that had just transpired. I revealed what Theo said to me and how small it made me feel. I'm devastated to hear about it all. If I could curse the detective to the depths of hell for insulting you as he did, I would have done so already. Dang. Perhaps when we next cross paths, I can hook his ankle with my cane. That's a bit much. Then we can watch him together as he topples down 4 flights of stairs. Mr. Hinkle, this is quite devious. Accidentally, of course. Can't help but let out a chuckle. I know he's only joking, yet it has triumphantly alleviated my frustration. In the end, Theo will still find out that you did that, Mr. Hinkle. He's not dumb. I don't want you to go to jail. Yes, not worth the jail time. Truth be told, he wasn't wrong about everything. I haven't been thorough enough. I'm finding it hard not to be disappointed in myself. My patron smiles at me. Don't be, dearest. Sometimes things don't work out as intended. Not every mystery is destined to be solved. Ending number 5, mysteries aplenty. So there are like other ways it could have gone. Interesting. Cool. it was pretty fun. Definitely, like, I like the art. The characters seem interesting. I need to get used to the investigation tools and stuff. I think that's partially what was kind of my shortcoming, and the fact of going back through and looking at everything. I think maybe I might reload and we can see how it would have done if we interviewed Mr. Hinkle instead. I think that is valid. So I'm gonna knock at the door. And knock on the door makes me glance up from my desk. I realize the sun. Yeah, so we come back in. We're gonna skip a little bit. We got the lovely Dr. Rayford, who is very helpful, but we want to see how it would be if we interviewed Mr. Hinkle instead. So, and of course, I encourage you to play this demo for yourself as well, so you can play it and figure it out for yourself. Because evidently, there's at least 5 endings for the demo. So let's interview Mr. Hinkle. Mr. Hinkle, would you mind staying for a while? I'd like to discuss something. Not at all. I'd be delighted. I turned back towards the chemist. Dr. Rayford, thanks again for analyzing these samples. Your assistance has been invaluable. Please don't let me keep you any longer today. You're quite welcome. I'm always happy to help. After bidding Mr. Hinkle a swift farewell, Dr. Rayford is out the door in no time. What do you want to talk about, my fair faeologist? I'll gesture towards the large box on my desk. It's a box of evidence for a multiple murder case. Is it from Detective Crouse? It is indeed. He brought it to me this morning. You haven't seen the detective in months, have you? How'd that visit go? Better than you would hoped, or it's nothing special. Let's say it's nothing special. There wasn't anything worth mentioning except, of course, about the top priority case I'm tasked with. Don't know why, but I have an inkling that he's pleased. Was that why Dr. Rayford was here earlier? She had analyzed some biological samples? Yes, that's right. Some blood. All right, then. Tell me about this case. How can I help? After bidding my patron to secrecy, I rattle off the basic facts of the homicides. I believe I might have heard a bit about this case. Not the gory details, mind you. Just little whispers here and there. Yes, I was hoping you'd be familiar with some of the parties involved. I wanted to show you something. Please share any knowledge you might have about the evidence. Sure, I can do that. Alright. Yeah, let's not start off with the gory photos. Oh, I see. This is interesting indeed. I can see why the detective came to you with this case. But, I'm sure Florence knows more than I do when it comes to analyzing biological samples. He's probably gonna say the same thing. Yep. Alright. Why are you showing me this invitation? Is this your way of confirming that you will be my date? Should I lock it down? Sure. Confirm the date. Yes, let's do it. Perfect. I'll pick you up here tomorrow. Alright. Show the ring. My, this is very bold of you. Are you sure you want to be bound to me forever? Says you, asking that question knowing full well this ring isn't mine. He laughs wholeheartedly. So whose is it? Mrs. Moore. All I can tell you is that she and her husband were always attached at the hip. 2 peas in a pod. Alright, so he just confirms what she said. Is this the one from that popular brand? Nectar Bell. That's the one, although that's all I know about it. Figured that would be about it. Let's see if he knows about this. Is this a parasitic fae? Are they the ones killing the poor ladies? I'm rather surprised that he's able to identify a fae from just one look. He must pay attention to what we tell him. Suppose he did read everything from my research reports. Let's see. One more family photo. It's a photograph of Mrs. Moore and her family. What can you tell me about the people in this picture? I believe this elderly couple is her adoptive parents. I've never really talked to them, but I hear they're kind, wonderful people. Biologically, Madame Moore was born as a so-called miracle baby to wealthy parents of an advanced age. Whenever they passed away, she had no other family members by blood. She was thus adopted by a middle-class couple who were trusted employees of her biological parents, or so I've heard. Upon coming of age, she received her sizable inheritance and wedded a recently rich entrepreneur of humble origins. This is her widower in the photo. He's said to be extremely close to his parents-in-law. Okay, so I'm wondering if maybe I should have said the scribe fae was what took out the parasitic phase. Because the blood of the third one was of a parasitic fae. So let's see. This is a photo of Mrs. Woolridge's family. All the faces here are familiar to me. I must express my deepest sympathies when I see them at the Leos Gala. Can you tell me more about the people in this picture? The Woodridges are perhaps one of the most prominent and powerful families in the city. The victim's father was in the running to be the richest in the whole world until he decided to devote much of his wealth to lavish charitable endeavors. This elderly woman is the victim's stepmother, a beautiful socialite for whom the victim's father divorced her biological mother. Ooh. This younger man is the victim's stepbrother. Would it be funny if her mother was the fae? That's hilarious. Alright. Are you familiar with this girl? No, I've never seen her before. Whoever this girl is, I express my sincerest condolences. Alright. Do you know this woman? I did. She was a fine, upstanding lady. She certainly didn't deserve such a gruesome ending. She was known among her peers for her rare coin collection. From what I've heard, you can see her collection displayed in every inch of her house. Okay. Oh, how awful. I was familiar with Madame Moore. Through the grapevine, I heard the devastating news of her death. I often interacted with this exceptional woman and her sprightly spouse at high society events. They're both gracious individuals. The very fun one. How terrible. I knew Madame Woolridge. As you undoubtedly know, her family hosts the city's biggest charity events every year. They tell me the fundraiser will be moving forward despite the tragedy in the family. According to my sources, she loved that event dearly and definitely would have wanted it to proceed. Did you ever know her to dabble on occult matters? Knowing this woman as I did, I doubt it. If it would help, however, I've heard several elites are members of a Clydesdale occult group. I only heard of the name the Golden Dawn. Hardly anyone knows about its existence. But do you have your way of knowing, don't you? I say teasingly, and he responds with a sly smirk. I do indeed. This is the first time Mr. Hinkle and I are talking about something this gruesome, even though I've known him a long time. Yet, as he spoke his condolences while seeing the corpse's photographs, his face remained blank, as if the words never reached his expression. His eyes didn't even flinch. How odd. So both of them seem kind of nonplussed about this. I wonder if his lack of empathy is just a trait of being in the upper class. Alright. I think we've got all the information we need. I have no further questions. I believe I have enough information for now. Already? Yes, Mr. Hinkle. Earlier you mentioned you had a prior arrangement, so I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for your time. You've been incredibly helpful. I'm delighted I could be of assistance. Reach out to me if you need anything else. I'll see you soon, yes? I gave him a brief nod. Mr. Hinkle then leaves my office. I'm alone again, but not for long. My assistant pops in the office. Okay, so that's going to be the same. We're going to work a little bit longer. See you later, Minnie. I have some time to wrap up my workday and head home from the office. Okay, so we got slightly different information from Mr. Hinkle, but I think I answered incorrectly. I think the scribe fairies might be the ones that... No, the red... It must be the warrior fairies, but I'm not the detective. Because we have the red on the poor parasitic fairies, so maybe they were coming after the parasitic fairies? So mistaking it. Structure of thorax. What happened to you, poor Fae? So I think that might be what it is. You mentioned the Golden Dawn. I should tell Theo about this. Okay. Mrs. Moore and her husband seem like delightful individuals. Alright. It seems the coin and evidence is hers. Yeah. So she probably got cursed by her collection. Mrs. Thatcher, Mr. Gill didn't know her at all, but she obviously walked in and had an altercation with her. It's a village woman and color blouse and her friend. So this is, they have the mage sigils on them. So the warrior fairies might be taking everyone else out for some reason. Seems to be victim, adopted parents. And she's the only one who has it. She was the one that died. And she's got the mage thing on them. You know, it's a popular brand. You know from Rayford that was thing. I can't even begin to imagine how her husband must feel to lose his soulmate that way. And it's got the purple and red, so it's got the parasitic. I think she might have been a changeling. Yeah, because of her hands. I think she might have been a changeling and got attacked. The other ones were guarded by the fairies, I think. Assistant two us together. Can be a stitch for me or entirely platonic. Let's not worry about that. Because we looked at this. And so it's got the purple for the parasitic, but it's also got red that it might have been attached by the warrior fairies, I think. That's what I'm thinking now. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. It's all good. Okay. arsenic, huh? Alright. Leaves black like the blood sample is mostly violet and red traces of magic. Yes, so there might have been a fight with them. Read somewhere that most insects don't have iron in the blood. Could it have been from the fairy? Started Rickford's lab report of blood samples. The content is quite similar to the forensic reports. Elements similarly found in human blood, such as phosphorus, carbohydrates, and some proteins, are found in the victim's blood and doesn't contain iron. Moreover, the amount of phosphorus found is a higher percentage than in human blood, making it possible to be the blood of a fairy. Fourth victim's blood appears to be normal human blood with iron present. Traces of arsenic are also found. Though there's some new information, I had expected the report to be more detailed. Then again, I did ask her to finish it as soon as possible, and she delivered. Alright. We're gonna try this again. Thank you, Oz. So let's see. We'll try talking to him a little bit different. Let's see how this goes. Hello, Theo. You're gonna be angry, broody boy. Again. Let's see. Come on. Alright, so we told him that we think it's fairies. So, let's see. Who is the culprit? I think the warrior fairy. It seems like it was trying to get us to do it because it's like it's at the top. They were the warrior class. What is the evidence? Alright, so I think the dead fae is definitely one of them. How does this prove warrior involvement? I put the dead fae beneath the black light. This dead parasitic fae. Look, it glows purple and red under the black light. I take it their bodies still glow after they're dead? Correct. It takes a little while until their magic is fully dissipated from the corpse. It honestly just looks like a normal bug to me. Hold on 1 second. I turn the shelves and pick up one of the boxes containing a deceased insect from my ongoing research. I open the lid and show it to Theodore. I found this one dying just yesterday. It died shortly after. Swiftly I put it beneath the black light. The normal one doesn't glow, you see? Theo's expression is a blend of amusement and bewilderment. Quite interesting. And how does it end up here? Certain fate fell off the victim's life sources. She became casualty and murder. I don't know. I feel like it might have been transformation magic. Actually, it could be this one. Let's see. The acidic fate that fell off the victim's life sources and became a casualty murder. Since this was found near the victim, it might have been the parasitic fae that was feeding off her life source. I can't seem to remember there being an insect in the evidence box. Oh, this is actually the coin in the evidence box. It turned into a dead fae when I put it under the black light long enough. Do parasitic fairies leech off human life sources by turning into things? The sharp question makes me realize something. Parasitic fae aren't capable of transforming into things, so it seems there's a flaw in this theory. Wait a minute, it appears there's something I missed. What else we got? Alright. The third victim's blood sample. So we answered the one question right. How does this prove warrior involvement? I slot the blood sample beneath the black light to show where the magic traces. You see, there's a glow of purple and red under the black light. How do the purple traces, or parasitic magic, as you say, have a part in this? I think the blood is the fairy blood. This is because the blood is fairies and their blood contains traces of their own magic. This is further supported by the blood sample analysis. Fairies' blood has high content phosphorus, just like reported. Adding to that, the missing iron. Fairies have an aversion towards iron. They don't have it in their blood. They still, however, witness the iron in human blood. That's why parasitic fae like to drink our blood. As I ramble on, Theo listens intently with slight surprised look on his face every time I start a new sentence. To be honest, I'm out of words at the moment. What else you got? Okay, so we didn't screw up completely. I guess we could go with the ring. That was just pre-ordering employment. Place the ring under the black light. You see, Mrs. Moore's ring glows purple and red under the black light. But why does it glow purple as well? It's a parasitic fae wrapped into a ring because of the... It warped in because of failed transformation magic? Sure. The parasitic fae that got warped by a ring. Small metallic objects are known to repel or warp fairies when their transformation magic goes awry. But how do you know for sure that this one is parasitic fae? He asked a good question. Normally the body of a parasitic fae will be revealed under black light. Yes, this one is just a ring, no matter how long I hold the black light top of it. I think I missed something. Okay, so what you showed me, parasitic faes are one way or another connected to the manner of killing. But you also haven't told me how the warrior faes killed the victims. Give it to me straight. How do you figure the murders were carried out? Let's see. Directed their underlings. Yeah, I don't think it was underlings. Or to replace victims with changelings and kill the changelings' occupations and hallucination spells. See, I think it might be that one. Because they have the extra digits and stuff, so I think that's what that is. The warrior high fae used their transformation magic to turn parasitic fae into human-like lookalikes of the victims, which are often called changelings. Changelings? Take out the crime scene photos with middle-aged victims and lay them down on a table. Using the magnifying glass, I show the oddity in the victim's hands to Theo. It's one of the possible abnormalities that is likely to happen due to the complexity of transformation magic used in creating changelings. As famous as these ladies' families are, it would have been a big thing in the papers if they had 6 fingers from when they were children. I don't seem to remember anything like that in newspapers, do you? No, me neither. Theo looks away, as though trying to remember all the newspapers he has read. It also explains the missing iron in the blood sample, since the corpses are not human. Wait till Theo meets my gaze again before continuing. Then they murder the changelings using ossification and hallucination magic. It is done to cover up what they really did to the real humans. But what are they doing then? What they really did? Like what? It can be anything. The real humans might be kidnapped to the fairyland, destined to wed at certain fairies and bring forth offspring, or be employed as a slave, or tortured for amusement until they die. I shiver at the thought of it happening to the poor ladies. Theo appears to be unsettled by the same thoughts as well. Hold on. Are you saying they might still be alive? There is a chance. Yeah, the realm of the fairies is still an enigma, even for those who study their kind. The Faeologists in this university have barely met any living fairies. You're aware of how fresh this field is within academia, aren't you? Theo nods. It pains me to admit that I genuinely do not know how to get them back. I will keep trying nonetheless. We both fell silent, as though a heavy weight had settled on our throats, refusing to budge. We can also look at this case from another angle. The motives. Based on your investigation, what could be the rationale between the warrior fairy's actions? It's difficult to pinpoint the reason why fairies do what they do, since they don't follow human rules or morality. However, I find that it looks like they are targeting people blessed by the scribes. The three middle-aged are blessed by fairies, scribe fairies, shown by the sigils on one of their hands. I say as I hover the blacklight on top of the family photos, one by one. I mentioned before that especially strong magic can be seen even through photos. Yes, I remember. He answers while taking the blacklight out of my hand and checking the sigils himself. Two sigils light up on Mrs. Wooldridge's family photo and one on Mrs. Moore's. The sigil is a sign of being blessed by one of the scribe fae, usually given when someone has done a very special boon for a scribe. It gives good fortune and is passed down through generations. As you know, the middle-aged victims and their families are old rich families that have stayed on top for many decades. That's how strong the magic is. Mrs. Moore was adopted. That's why it's only her who has it. Her late biological parents hailed from a distinguished and affluent lineage. Theo points at the faces in Miss Wooldridge's photos. And he's the biological father while the other two are step-family. I nodded him. I'm positively sure that should we check into Mrs. Neblet's family photograph, she and her children would display the same sigils. I'll see what I can do. Oh, and this also meant as a warning for others to not harm the marked human. I guess that warning didn't work in this case, did it? No, it didn't. Well, I suppose this does make sense, and it's a pattern. Yes. This might be targeted murders. He then casts a glance my way with an air of satisfaction around him, and breaks into a smile. Oh, he is soft and... Good job. Thanks, we helped this time. My, considering how rarely he gives commendations, this sounds like the compliment of a lifetime. I can feel my confidence is going through the roof. Thank you. Lastly, what have you found on the poor girl Mary Hatcher? Any connections to fairies? The chemist's report is similar to the case files. The blood is normal human blood. Traces of arsenic. I didn't find any signs of fairy magic from the evidence. Even so, based on her relation to Mrs. Neblet, we can't discard the possibility that fairies might be involved with her death too. Theo nods in agreement. I have one more piece of information to tell you. Really? What is it? Mr. Hinkle told me that there exists a clandestine occult group called the Golden Dawn. I asked him about this since the police report suggested some occultism might be involved. Hardly anyone, even from the upper class, has ever heard of it. He said several elites are members of it. He picks out a small notebook and a pen from his trench coat and starts writing. I'm not sure if it is useful. Oh, I'm not sure if it's useful. Every scrap of information counts. I ought to note down the things you've talked about today as well. Your findings really threw me for a loop. I forgot to take notes. It's okay. We're here to help. I know it's a lot. Of course, take your time. While Theo's writing, I tidy up my desk and put the evidence back in the box. Anything else you got? That's all I have for now. He puts his notebook and pen back in his coat. He heaves a sigh so heavy I can believe he has the weight of the city on his shoulders. Even so, when he looks at me, there's a glint of something that wasn't there before. He believes me now. This fleck of emulation is all the more stark since we started this discussion. It's hope, perhaps. A tiny, delicate thing is blooming into this room to counteract the overwhelming darkness and despair outside. I always knew you were clever. Thanks. It's very different than the other ending. Even though I feel there are still some missing pieces to this puzzle, you've done well. I try to help. I'm quite impressed. Thank you, Theo. He answers with a soft smile. Well, we've got our work cut out for us. But at least for now, innocent people won't get thrown in jail. Thanks to you. Alright, we try to help. I'm glad I could help. Now I just need to convince the chief and the papers. Good luck with that one. Thing is, I might have to bring up your name in my report. I can't predict how the papers will handle this, but it's possible they'll mention you in Faeology. This is good your field, of course, but it could draw unwanted, dangerous attention your way. I'll be fine, Theo. I can protect myself. This is what the field needs. Indeed, you're more than capable of taking care of yourself. He believes in me now. I know that very well. I do appreciate you worrying over me. Theo's concern seems to fade. He lets out a sigh of relief. Well, this day's certainly been a ride. He glances at his wristwatch. I still gotta get time until I gotta get back to the station. Fancy a drink with me? You can tell me more about faeries, and I'll listen with way less judgment this time. Just like I promised. I don't know if that's a good idea. Oh, I get it. Besides, I must honor a prior appointment with someone else. Alright. I'd better get going then. Be sure to take care of yourself. Same goes for you. Just as the detective is about to leave, my patron arrives at the door. Oh, of course. Fancy seeing you here, Detective Crouse. Even as Theo continues to glare, Mr. Hinkle's eyes are steady on mine. Are you ready to go? In a moment, I have to finish grading these assignments. It will take 10 minutes at most. I'm happy to wait. Anything for you. They're slamming as Theo leaves the office just like... After he departs, I focus on the assignments for grading. The only noise that can be heard in the office is the rustling of papers. I'm speed grading. Mr. Hinkle then breaks the silence. Are you looking forward to all the exciting funding opportunities we can potentially snag at this event? Oh goodness, I'm not looking forward to rattling my can and waiting for coins to drop. You never know. I'll never let you beg. As long as you're with me, you'll get things done with dignity. Oh, thank you. You know what I'm most excited to see, or taste rather? What? The free-flowing champagne. Woohoo! The fundraiser will have that right. Of course, that's a given. I have a lot to celebrate tonight. Oh? You have to tell me everything as soon as possible. I will, I promise. Oh, okay. We got the gala of generosity ending that time. It's another afternoon in the office. Oh. My patron has stopped by to discuss a research project that I've been considering. Oh. Now that Faeology might get increased credibility, especially with the police. I think we should examine the prevalence of strange deaths caused by faeries. Don't you think, Mr. Hinkle? The police might agree to help us collect the data. I'm not so sure about that. It would take time for the police to trust us to that extent. That's true. Besides, wouldn't it be more pressing to focus your research on warrior phase? That is true. Uh-oh. We have to talk. Hey, Theo. What's up? Before I can respond, two individuals suddenly barge into my office. Sorry, I tried to stop him, but I couldn't. Even though I've told him you're in a meeting right now. It's okay, Minnie. He doesn't listen. He's very stubborn. You can let me handle this. If you say so, Professor. Minnie grumbles at Theo as she walks out. She's just glaring at her. She's like, this dude. Minnie's gonna box you. What's eating you, Theo? Theo doesn't so much glance at Mr. Hinkle. He unfurls a rolled up newspaper from the inner pocket of his coat. He hands it to me. Oh no. Dance till death. At a glance, I see the phrases, "Fairies are real, evil's afoot, fairies killing humans," spelled out in bold, oversized letters. Uh-oh. As I begin reading, my patron peers over my shoulder to read as well. It is not the chief's statement that made the front page. It's another bizarre murder. And this time the victim is a beloved celebrity. Uh-oh. She danced until her body gave out. They wrote out all the excessively grisly details connected to her death. Moreover, the reports surrounding the other homicides have been thoroughly sensationalized and exaggerated. Oh no. They depicted fairies as evil enemies of mankind, and in some parts, they even insinuate that war between human beings is brewing. Uh-oh. Reading all of this makes my heart sink and my stomach churn. I need to put the paper down for a moment. This is truly awful. I've already checked the crime scene. The details of this latest incident look similar to what we've uncovered from the previous murders. Given everything, I'd say fairies definitely in the picture here. Though it's still hard to make heads or tails of all this. It's very difficult to grasp their motives, but judging by the methods and frequency, I have to say this is significant. Something big might be going on in the land of the fairies. As the conversation unfolds, Mr. Hinkle appears to be deeply in thought. I need you to check something really quick. Theo gives me a photograph of a celebrity. Knowing exactly what he wants, I retrieve the black light from my drawer and examine the photo closely. Both Theo and Mr. Hinkle peek over my shoulder to see. A sigil, the same one as the other three victims had. I suppose we can now establish that these are targeted murders. I nod at him. For some reason, Mr. Hinkle is nodding with me. Although the fourth victim, Mary Hatcher, doesn't have the sigil, does she? Did you find anything more about it? Theo shakes his head, leaving behind a troubled look. I think she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Nobody in the purchase records has a strong link to the girl. We're asking around here and there. The girl was a saint. Everybody loved her. Her squabble with Mrs. Nesbit is the strongest lead we've had. A striking realization dawns on me. What if a fairy transformed into a human and purchased the poison? What? They could do that? Suddenly, Mr. Hinkle's familiar voice fills the room after his long stretch of silence. Oh yes, Detective. Although when a fairy shifts into human shape, they cannot assume the identity of someone already living. Your culprit may well be a name on the list, but none that doesn't truly exist. I give a nod in agreement with his words, feeling slightly proud that my patron is reading all the knowledge this university has to offer. Or is he a fairy himself? We don't know. Theo flinches at Mr. Hinkle's input, clearly having dismissed him as part of the furniture. Theo's not happy. He then scoffs. Theo. All I get from Theo is a shrug. Surprisingly, he turns towards a patron. For what I've come to understand, fairy magic is more than capable of doing the killing. They've no need for poison. but I won't discard the possibility. Mr. Hinkle only replies with a smile. Well, it's certainly a rare occurrence. I do like that he's actually glaring at him. Theo goes back to ignoring Mr. Hinkle and talks directly to me. I should mention that I've gotten permission for you to check the crime scene. Come with me tomorrow? I'll see what I can do. Alright, I've got to go. I'm leaving the newspaper here. There are more articles about Faeology that you should read. Without so much as a word of goodbye to Mr. Hinkle, Theo leaves. Theo turns and leaves. Yeah, he's not going to talk to him. He does not want to. I pick up the paper again and continue reading while Mr. Hinkle silently reads alongside me. The field of Faeology is indeed mentioned quite markedly, but its loyalty to humankind is under scrutiny. Although the police chief spoke of our help, the papers continue to raise doubts about our involvement in these killings. Uh-oh. Is the Faeology University a friend or a foe? Uh-oh. We gotta watch out. They said, thank you for playing. Alright, like I said, I think this is pretty interesting. I like that there's a lot of different routes and stuff like that. And I definitely encourage you to check out the demo for yourself and see what endings you get. We got 2 and 5 so far. But I think this has a lot of promise. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the full game. Remember to go to Steam and give them a little wish list. You know, it's always free and it helps the developers with the algorithms. And yeah, I'm very glad that they sent this game my way. Had a lot of fun playing it. And yeah, it took me a little bit to figure out with like the tools with the investigations. But I think it's definitely one of those games you're going to have to pay attention and take note of the different observations to figure out which types of fairies are doing what crimes and such. But thank you for checking out 1B. It seems to that our love interests might be Theo or Mr. Hinkle. I'm not sure which one I lean towards, but which one do you think you would go for? Let me know in the comments if you have a decision or you're not sure. They're both handsome in their own way. Theo can be a little angry if he doesn't get the right question answers, and Hinkle seems very devoted no matter what. But thank you for hanging out with me. As always, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but don't take any crap. And I'll see you next time. Bye.